Hi students, all of you good morning and welcome to the class. In this class, we are going to discuss MCQs regarding KSET, NEET, JEE, and the topic is amino acids and proteins. Yes, all of you know the chapter name, biomolecules. So please all of you open your volume number 4 and page number 120. Volume number 4, page number 120. Objective exercise 2. Objective exercise 2. Yes, read the first question. Question number 1. Read the question number 1. On the screen, you are able to see the same question number 1. For your convenient purpose, I am sharing on the screen. Yes, is it visible to all of you? Is the question is visible to all of you? Is the question is visible to all of you? Okay, read the question number 1. The end products of protein hydrolysis are. The end products of protein hydrolysis are first option peptides, second option monosaccharides, third option lipids, and the fourth option amino acids, particularly alpha amino acids. So if you go for the option number 4, that is alpha amino acids. Okay, on the screen you are seeing the structure alpha amino acids. What is the structure of alpha amino acids? Yes, at the center I am taking the carbon. At the top I am going to take single bond COOH. At the left side single bond NH2. At the right side single bond R. At the bottom single bond H. So this is the general representation for alpha amino acids. Yes, is it visible clearly? Is it visible to all of you clearly? Alpha amino acids. Okay, I'm going to little bit decrease the size. Wait a minute. Yes, now it is visible to all of you. So once again, the end products of protein hydrolysis are. The answer is alpha amino acids. How can we say it is an amino acid? If any compound having amine group, single bond NH2 called as amine group, and a carboxylic acid group, single bond COOH group. So having both amine group and carboxylic acid group, such compounds are called as amino acids. And in this amino acid, COOH is the functional group, carboxylic acid is the functional group. The adjacent carbon to the functional group, is called as alpha carbon. So this carbon is called as alpha carbon, and this alpha carbon having NH2 group. So this amino acid is known as alpha amino acid. So when the alpha amino acids are undergoing polymerization, the formed polymer is called as protein. So protein is the polymeric form of alpha amino acid. So simply we can say that alpha amino acids are the monomer units. Once again, alpha amino acids are the monomer units present in the proteins. So by the hydrolysis of proteins, we will get alpha amino acids. Yes, all of you requested, please remember this structure. Based on this structure, we are going to discuss all those questions today. So once again, the structure: at the center carbon, at the top single bond COOH, at the left side single bond NH2, at the right side single bond R, at the bottom single bond H. And this is the representation of alpha amino acids. And this configuration is called as capital L configuration. In the carbohydrates topic, we discussed about glucose, that is a D, capital D glucose. Here, this alpha amino acid is known as capital L configuration. This is a configuration known as L configuration. So simply we can write L hyphen alpha amino acids, right? So simply you can remember the configuration of alpha amino acids is L configuration, capital L configuration. Okay. So that is about the first question. Moving to the question number 2. Yes, on the screen you are seeing the question number 2 now. Otherwise, in your material also you can see volume number 4, page number 120. Objective exercise 2, question number 2. Question number 2. Yes, read the question number 2. Read the question number 2. The IUPAC name of glycine is. The IUPAC name of glycine is. Yes, I am coming to the board. The IUPAC name of glycine. Yes, first of all, I am going to take the general representation of alpha amino acids. The general representation of alpha amino acids. How can we represent the alpha amino acids? Means carbon is taken according to your given textbook. I am taking the same. At the top, COOH group. At the left side, single bond NH2 group. And at the right side, residual group. R stands for residual group or rest of the group. At the bottom, hydrogen is taken. So this is the general representation for alpha amino acids. Now, coming to our question. Yes, once you see the question number 2. What is the question number 2? Yes, on the screen you are seeing now. The IUPAC name of glycine is. The IUPAC name of glycine is. So, in the place of R, that is residual group. See here, the residual group R. Where the residual group is present? At the right side. So, this residual group, if it is replaced with hydrogen, then that is called as glycine. Glycine. So, glycine is an example of alpha amino acid. Once again, glycine is an example of alpha amino acid. In the alpha amino acid, if the residual group R is replaced with hydrogen, then we will get the amino acid called as glycine. Yes, on the board. Yes, now you can see. So this is the general representation of alpha amino acid. In the place of residual group, if we are going to write hydrogen, then this is called as glycine. So we can say that glycine is an example of alpha amino acid. Now, the question asks this, what is the IUPAC name? Yes, to write the IUPAC name, first we have to select the longest carbon chain including functional group. We have to select the longest carbon chain including functional group. So this is the longest carbon chain including functional group. Functional group is having the carbon. So this carbon is given as the first carbon and this carbon is given as the second carbon. Right? And there is no another carbon. Only 2 carbons are there. So now, first we have to say the substitute. Substitute is present at second carbon. That is amine group. So we can say that 2-amino. 2-amino. That is the substitute. Next remaining is the root word. Total carbons present in the longest carbon chain is the root word. 2 carbons are there in the chain, longest carbon chain. So 2 carbons root word is eth. Between carbon and carbon single bond is there. Single bond is called as ane. And finally it is the functional group. COOH known as carboxylic acid. Its IUPAC name is oic acid. Oic acid is the IUPAC name of carboxylic acid. So finally we can say that glycine is the general name. 2-amino or 2-amino ethanoic acid is the IUPAC name. But here only 2 carbons are present. 1 carbon is containing functional group, second carbon is containing substitute. So in this case, there is no need to say the 2 because already the substitute is present at second carbon itself. If more than 2 carbons are there, then only we should indicate the position of the substitute. But in this case, there is no need to write 2. If you write the 2, it's not problem. It's also accepted. So in our material, if you see the options, in your material, if you go for the options, yes, you will find the option. What is the option given? Third option, option 3. aminoethanoic acid. IUPAC name of glycine. IUPAC name of glycine is aminoethanoic acid. Yes, it is an important question. Please remember this one. We are going to listen the same word glycine so many number of times. You have to remember this structure also. So what is the structure of glycine? What is the structure of glycine? How can we remember the glycine easily? Yes, glycine, first of all, it is an example of alpha amino acid. Just simply take a cross. At the top of the cross, carboxylic acid group is taken. At the left side of the cross, amine group is taken. At the right side, one hydrogen. At the bottom, one hydrogen. So this is the molecular structure of glycine. Yes, my dear students, already we know that the cross is indicating one carbon. The cross is indicating one carbon is present here. Now tell me whether this carbon is having same groups or different groups. This is a group COOH. This is a group NH2. This is a group hydrogen. This is a group hydrogen. So this carbon is having four groups: carboxylic acid group, amine group, hydrogen, and hydrogen. Whether this carbon is having all different groups, whether this carbon is having all different groups, no, this carbon is not having all the different groups. This carbon is having two same groups. What are the two same groups means? This hydrogen and this hydrogen. So whenever a carbon is having at least two same type of groups, then that carbon is known as which type of carbon? Whether it is a chiral carbon or achiral carbon. According to optical isomerism. According to optical isomerism. To explain the optical isomerism, we heard about two words. One is chiral carbon, and second one is achiral carbon. Chiral carbon and achiral carbon. Now tell me, this carbon is having one hydrogen and other hydrogen, having at least two same type of atoms, or groups, then which type of carbon it is? Whether it is chiral carbon or achiral carbon? Please give a response. We already studied about this one in the topic haloalkanes and haloarenes. We studied about SN1 and SN2 reactions in the haloalkanes and haloarenes. There we discussed about optical isomerism. Can anybody say whether this carbon is a achiral carbon or chiral carbon? Yes, Chirant is saying that it is achiral carbon. Achiral carbon. Yes. Okay, I'm going to share the screen once to clarify your doubts. Yes, on the screen you are going to see this one. Yes. Now, if you are seeing the second carbon on the screen, if you are observing the second carbon on the screen, this is the second carbon. This carbon is having hydrogen and hydrogen, two same type of groups are present. So this carbon is an example of achiral carbon. Achiral carbon. Otherwise, simply you can understand it is a symmetrical carbon. Symmetrical. Symmetry means similarity. Similarity. Symmetry means similarity. What is the similarity here? This carbon is having at least two same type of atoms. So this carbon is called as symmetrical carbon or achiral carbon. Correct answer. So whether this compound can rotate plane polarized light or not. Whether this glycine can rotate the plane polarized light or not. Whether the glycine can rotate the plane polarized light or not. This is a glycine. Whether the glycine can rotate the plane polarized light or not. Whether it is an example of optically active compound or optically inactive compound. Glycine, whether it is optically active compound or optically inactive compound. I am not going to explain question and answers. I am not going to explain just question and answers. I am discussing with you. I am not teaching. I am discussing with you. You have to respond, please. Whether this compound can rotate the plane polarized light or not. Plane polarized light, some compounds may rotate plane polarized light in the clockwise direction. Such compounds are called as dextro compounds. Some compounds can rotate plain polarized light in the anti-clockwise direction, they are called as lever compounds or lever compounds. Now tell me whether this compound is going to rotate the plain polarized light or not. This compound never rotates the plain polarized light. Why? Because means this carbon is having at least two same type of groups. That means this carbon is, which type of carbon it is? Which type of carbon it is? Which type of carbon it is? Achiral carbon. So because of the presence of achiral carbon or because of the presence of symmetrical carbon, because of the presence of achiral carbon or symmetrical carbon, this compound is not going to rotate plain polarized light. Now we can say that glycine is an example of optically, glycine is an example of very important one. Glycine is an example of optically inactive compound. Yes, text me whether this concept is understood. Whether this compound, optical activity of glycine, whether the concept is understood to you. Whether this concept is understood to you now. Optical activity. Don't waste time, please. Please respond. Are you getting? Are you getting the class? Okay. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, I'm not going to waste your time. Just I'm going to teach. You are not interested to respond. I can't do anything. If you are interested, I can do anything. If you are not interested, just I can teach only. Okay, anyhow. So finally we can say that for question number 2, the option is 3. Next, go for the question number 3. D-alanine. Question number 3. Capital D hyphen alanine. Capital D hyphen alanine and capital L hyphen alanine. With respect to D-alanine differs from L-alanine with respect to. Yes, read the question once. My dear students, please read the question. Capital D and capital L, what they represents? Capital D and capital L, what they represents? They represents the relative configurations. So D-alanine and L-alanine differs in their relative configurations. In the carbohydrates topic, we discussed about D-glucose, right? So capital D is indicating it is the relative configuration. So capital D alanine and capital L alanine, they are going to differ in their relative configurations. So for question number 3, option is 1. Yes, see the question number 4. See the question number 4. Which of the following does not exist as a Zwitter ion? Very important concept it is. Zwitter ion. Which of the following does not exist as a Zwitter ion? Yes, first of all, we have to know what is meant by a Zwitter ion. Question number 4. Zwitter ion. So to understand the Zwitter ion, I am going to consider the glycine. I am going to take the example glycine first. What is glycine? By taking across at the top carboxylic acid group, at the left side amine group, at the right side hydrogen, at the bottom hydrogen. So this is the structure of glycine. And carboxylic acid group. Carboxylic acid group is which type of group? It is an acidic group. Amine group. In the amine group, nitrogen contain one lone pair. Lone pair donors. Lone pair donor is called as a Lewis base. In first PUC, you studied about acids and bases, Lewis acids and Lewis bases. So if any species is there, the central atom with at least one lone pair, and if the species is capable to donate the lone pair, such species are called as Lewis bases. So in the glycine, one group is acting as a base, another group is acting as an acid. Once again, in the glycine, one group is acting as a base, one group is acting as acid. Which group is acting as base? Carboxylic acid group is acting as a acid group, whereas amine group is acting as a base group. So base is ready to accept H plus ion. Acid is ready to donate H plus ion. According to Bronsted acid base theory, bases are ready to accept H plus ions, acids are ready to donate H plus ion. Now, in this compound glycine, if the glycine is taken in the aqueous solutions, when the glycine molecule is taken in the aqueous solutions, what will happen? So whenever the glycine is taken in the water or in the aqueous solutions, this H plus ion is donated towards NH2 group. Then we can write this as, here it is, now NH2 becomes as NH3 plus, because proton is going to be accepted by NH2 and proton is donated by COOH. Then COOH becomes as COO minus. Remaining is as it is. Here hydrogen is there, here also hydrogen is there. So this is the ion called as Zwitter ion. This type of ion is called as Zwitter ion. So we can also represent the Zwitter ion of glycine as like this by taking the cross again at the right side. Now I am going to take COO minus. Instead of taking at the top, I am going to take the COO minus at the right side, and NH3 plus group is at the left side, and remaining are hydrogen atoms. So this is also the same Zwitter ion of glycine. So what is meant by Zwitter ion? The molecule itself, one end containing positive charge, other end containing negative charge. Once again, the molecule itself, one end containing positive charge, the other end is containing negative charge. Such type of ions are called as Zwitter ions. So amino acids, most of the amino acids, they are going to form Zwitter ions in aqueous solutions. And one thing, the Zwitter ion is containing two poles. Positive pole is there as well as negative pole is there. So Zwitter ions are known as dipoles. Di means two, poles means charges, positive charge and negative charge. So we can say that all the amino acids, they are going to contain dipoles and they are going to form Zwitter ions. Zwitter ion means in a molecule, one end with positive charge, the other end with negative charge. That means the same molecule having two poles, two opposite poles at opposite ends is called as Zwitter ion. So coming to the question, what is the question asked? Which of the following does not exist as Zwitter ion? Very important question. Question number 4. Which of the following does not exist as Zwitter ion? Yes, on the screen you are going to see the concept. Which of the following does not exist as Zwitter ion? So say the first option. First option given is glycine. Glycine is the first option given. On the screen you are seeing the structure of glycine. At the left side NH2 group is there, that is basic group is there. At the top acidic group is there. So glycine can form Zwitter ion, right? And if you go for the option 2, yes, what is option 2 given? Alanine. Yes, in the alanine, at the right side, actually at the right side, residual group should be there. Capital R should be there. Here, residual group is replaced with CH3. Whereas in the case of glycine, residual group is replaced with hydrogen. Whereas in the case of alanine, the residual group is replaced with CH3. This is only the difference between glycine and alanine. Now coming to the point, Alanine is also containing carboxylic acid group, that is acid group, and amine, that is a basic group. So base group can accept the proton, acid group can donate the proton, so it can also form Zwitter ion. So alanine can also form Zwitter ion. And coming to the next option, option 3, yes, option 3 given as sulfonic sulfonylate acid. Option 3 given as sulfonylate acid. In the sulfonylate acid, on benzene ring, on the opposite positions, sulfonic group is there. Yes, double bond O, single bond OH, that is the sulfonic group, and single bond NH2, that is the amine group. Now, my dear students, please tell me whether the sulfonylate acid can form Zwitter ion or not. Yes, the sulfonylate acid can form the Zwitter ion. Why? Because means here acidic group is there. This can donate the H plus ion. And here base group is there. NH2 is there that can accept the proton. So at this end, we can get the positive charge by accepting the proton. At this end, we can get the negative charge by losing the proton. So sulfonylate acid can also form the Zwitter ion. So what are forming the Zwitter ions here? Glycine can form Zwitter ion. Next, alanine can form Zwitter ion. Next, sulfonylate acid can form Zwitter ion. But what is our question asked? Yes, once read the question. If you read the question, which of the following does not exist as Zwitter ion? Now the conclusion is, to exist as Zwitter ion, the molecule itself contains one acid group and one base group. Acid group at one end, base group at other end. Once again I am saying, to exhibit the Zwitter ion, the molecule itself must contain acid group as well as base group at opposite ends. So what are containing acid and base groups? Glycine, alanine, and sulfonylate acid. All these are containing acid group as well as base group at opposite ends. But coming to the option number 4, if you say the option number 4 here, picric acid, very important word, picric acid. Please try to remember this word, picric acid. Picric acid is the common name. What is its IUPAC name? Means 2,4,6 trinitrophenol. So on the board I am going to write picric acid. What is the structure of picric acid? Yes, what is the question number? Question number is 4. Which molecule, which of the following cannot form Zwitter ion? Which of the following cannot form Zwitter ion? That is the question given. So here option number, question number 4, option is also the 4. So what is the option 4 given? Option 4 given is picric acid. It is the common name and its IUPAC name is 2,4,6 trinitro. 2,4,6 trinitrophenol. First of all, phenol. What is meant by phenol? Benzene ring having single bond OH is the phenol. And oxygen is going to contain 2 lone pairs of electrons. And second position is going to be substituted with nitro group. Fourth position substituted with nitro group. Sixth position substituted with nitro group. Now, my dear students, tell me whether this molecule, that is the picric acid, is going to contain acid group and base group. Whether the picric acid is going to contain acid group as well as base group? No, it is not containing acid group as well as base group. Why? Because means here nitro group is there. The nitro group is there. Nitro group contain, nitrogen contain lone pairs, oxygen contain lone pairs. Same. Nitro group is there. Lone pairs are there on nitrogen as well as oxygen. Here also lone pairs are there on nitrogen and oxygen. Now, my question is whether 2,4,6 trinitrophenol is an example of acidic compound or a basic compound. To know this one, we have to understand the acidic nature of phenols. Already we completed this topic, acidic nature of phenols. Acidic nature of phenols. The acidic nature of phenols is depending upon 2 factors. One is electron donating group and second one is electron withdrawing group. Yes, Jaya, already we completed this topic, acidic nature of phenols. So the acidic nature of phenols is depending upon electron donating group and electron withdrawing group. And the acidic nature of phenols can increase with increase in the number of electron withdrawing groups. In this molecule, this is a phenol. Benzene ring with single bond OH is called as phenol. In this phenol, nitro group is acting as NO2 group. Single bond NO2 group act as electron withdrawing group. How many number of electron withdrawing groups are present here? 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 electron withdrawing groups are present. Yes, we know that as the number of electron withdrawing groups increases, the acidic nature of phenols also increases. Once again, the statement, as the number of electron withdrawing groups in the phenols increases, the acidic nature of the phenols also going to increase. So we can say that this compound, that is 2,4,6 trinitrophenol, is having only acidic groups. There is no basic group. So picric acid or 2,4,6 trinitrophenol is not going to form a Zwitter ion, right? So the answer is picric acid or 2,4,6 trinitrophenol is not going to form Zwitter ion. Yes. Are you understanding the concept? Are you understanding the concept? You are not responding. That's why I'm going fast. For my questions, if you respond, I will go slow. But no student is responding to my question. That's why I'm going fast. Just I am teaching, not I am going to discuss here. If you respond, I will discuss. If you are not going to respond, I will teach. Do you require the class as a teaching or as a discussion? Do you require the class as a teaching or as a discussion? Do you require the class as a teaching or as a discussion? Do you require the class as a teaching or as a discussion? Only one student responded. That means the remaining students, all they require only the class. There is no need of discussion, I think so. Okay, fine. Anyhow, whatever you want, I will give. Here I am to give you whatever you want from my side. Okay, coming to the next question, question number 5. Read the question number 5. Read the question number 5. Yes, I'm going to share the screen. Some students still they are not having the materials because they are out of the station. Some students are not at home, they are out of the station. That's why I'm sharing the screen every day. Whenever possible, I'm sharing the screen to avoid the problem to the out of station students. Yes, question number 5. Nature of aqueous solutions of two different amino acids, capital X and capital Y, are acidic and basic. Now, X and Y are. What is X? What is Y? So if you go for the options, first option, alanine and valine. Second option, aspartic acid and aspargine. Third option, glutamine, glutamic acid. Fourth option, aspartic acid and lysine. So once again the question, nature of aqueous solutions of two different amino acids X and Y are acidic and basic. Right, my question is, to become acidic in nature, is coming to the board. For your convenience, I am coming to the board. So we are discussing about amino acids. Our concept is about amino acids. Now tell me, amino acids containing single bond NH2 group, that is amine group or amino group, and a single bond COOH group, that is carboxylic acid group. So the amino acids are containing two different groups, that is amine group as well as carboxylic acid group. Yes, we know that as the number of amine groups increases, basic character increases, because amines are basic in nature, because the nitrogen containing lone pair in the amine can be donated. So amine group containing compounds are basic in nature. Carboxylic acid group containing compounds are acidic in nature. Once again, amine group containing compounds are basic in nature. Carboxylic acid group containing compounds are acidic in nature. Now you will get a doubt. Sir, amino acids are containing basic group, that is amine group, acidic group, that is carboxylic acid group. Now the question will arise whether the amino acids are acidic in nature, or amino acids are basic in nature, or the amino acids are neutral in nature. Can you guess what is the nature of amino acids? Whether the amino acids are acidic or basic or neutral? Yes, the nature of the amino acids depends upon the number of the acidic or basic nature of amino acids depends upon the number of amine groups and number of carboxylic acid groups. So simply we can say that as the number of carboxylic acid groups increases, the amino acid is said to be more acidic in nature. And as the number of amine groups in the amino acid increases, that amino acid is said to be basic in nature. When the number of amine groups and number of carboxylic acid groups in an amino acid becomes the same, then that amino acid is called as neutral amino acid. So the amino acids are classified into three types: acidic, basic, and neutral. Now, if you read that question once again, question number 5, very important concept. Question number 5. Once again, read the question. Nature of aqueous solutions of two different amino acids, capital X and capital Y, are acidic and basic. That means X is an amino acid that is acidic in nature. Y is an amino acid that is basic in nature. Yes, if you go for the option number 4. Yes, option number 4. Yes, once see the option number 4. What is given in the option number 4? Aspartic acid and lysine. Please see the material. Please see the material once. If you see the option number 4, aspartic acid and lysine. Aspartic acid, if you see the name itself, acid. So aspartic acid is an acidic amino acid. What is the structure of aspartic acid? How can we understand the aspartic acid? Yes, once you see this structure, I will explain. So this is the structure of aspartic acid. Just once see this one, I will explain it. Aspartic acid. Okay, can you guess in the aspartic acid which group is the residual group? In the aspartic acid, which group is acting as the residual group? Yes, single bond CH2, single bond COOH. Single bond CH2, single bond COOH is the residual group in the aspartic acid, and it is containing two carboxylic acid groups. Here it is one COOH group, here it is one COOH group. So two carboxylic acid groups are there and one amine group is there. So as the number of carboxylic acid groups increases than amine groups, then that compound is acidic in nature. So we can say that aspartic acid is acidic in nature. Whereas lysine, yes, coming to the lysine. So what is the structure of lysine? Yes, this is the structure of lysine. So in the lysine, what is the residual group? Single bond CH2 taken 4 times, single bond NH2. This is the residual group of lysine. Now if you observe, amine group is 2. Here is one, here is one. 2 amine groups are there. 1 carboxylic acid group is there. Now we can say that as the number of amine groups increases than carboxylic acid groups, then the amino acid